Hey friends. Okay, so full disclosure, this is my very first live on YouTube. So I've done lives before, but this is my very first one on YouTube. And so I'm a smidge nervous. I'm just a smidge nervous. But I didn't say this before, but today is my birthday. And so I am, my gift to myself is to be brave, to be brave and to do something new. And so I thought today we would do something pretty simple, and I would start out trying to get myself used to this kind of thing by doing a mug, vinyl mug. And so we're going to actually do two. So we're going to talk about layering vinyl. And so we're going to do a fairly simple mug. Like I want to do a design for Easter. And so we'll do that one first, which is just two colors. And then we will move on to a multicolor design that is This Mama Prays. So that's the one that you would have seen on the cover image. And by the way, guys, if you're in my email list, I sent it to you last night. So I sent you the free cut. So make sure that you pop over and do that. And by the way, I am in comments. I am by myself today. So I would love for you guys to tell me if where you're at. I am currently in Alabama. That's where I live these days. So I would love to hear from you guys if you want to, say hi in the chat. That would be fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you like a top-down view, and I'm hoping, can everyone hear me? I'm hoping I got this right. Okay, I'm just looking real quick just to make sure that I have this right. So if anybody is out there, and I see there are some of you out there, I would love it if one of you would comment and just let me know, hey, yes, I can hear you. And then we will get rolling on this. And you can just tell me how you can hear me or where you're at. That would be fantastic. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll give you a top down of my craft table. So these are the things that we're going to be using today. And so I went ahead and trimmed out the vinyl. If you have not cut vinyl before, so if you are brand new to vinyl, I do have some videos that if you look in my playlist, I have a vinyl playlist, and I have a Cricut Joy playlist, and a Maker playlist, and Explore playlist. So if you are looking for specific to a machine, I did cut out the vinyl for today, and I did use the Joy, but I'm going to talk to you about different kind of vinyls, because now that we've gotten into this world of smart vinyl and premium vinyl and regular vinyl, everyday vinyl, and holographic vinyl, all the things, I find that they weed differently, and I find that picking them up with transfer tape is definitely different. So we'll talk through a little bit of that today. Hey, Anne, thank you. Thank you for being the very first person ever to comment on a live for me. And you're from Michigan. Hey, I actually lived in Ohio for several years after college. I lived in Columbus, Ohio. So hey, okay. And so that means that you can hear me. So yippee. So everything's working well. It says it's working good, but you just never know, right? So, okay, so let's go back to top down. And so a couple of different things. So there's different kinds of vinyls. And so these are smart vinyls. And so if you own a Cricut Joy, or if you own a Maker or an Explorer, the newer ones, you're going to be able to use the smart vinyl, which basically just means no mat. So you're just able to feed that right in. But if you're using, old school vinyl and you're putting it on a mat, you're doing a little bit of that too. I just find that the smart vinyl is so much thicker that I don't want to say it's harder to weed, but it's definitely harder to pick up. I find that my transfer tape has a lot harder time with that. And I don't want to go to strong transfer tape just because I feel like it doesn't release very well. Now, if you're using glitter vinyl, absolutely strong transfer tape is the only way to go, because I remember when they very first came out with glitter vinyl, and it literally did not pick it up. I thought I was doing something wrong. And then shortly thereafter, they came out with it, or maybe they had it and I just didn't know it. But the strong is what you absolutely have to have if you want to use glitter vinyl, but we're not using glitter today. So we are going to use multiple colors. So this is, you can see here from the side, this is smart vinyl. This is actually a remnant of smart vinyl. So if you ever craft with me, so if you're ever on my channel, you ever craft with me, I love to save all the pieces and parts. I don't like to throw anything away because I feel like, yes, I'm going to eventually be able to use them. And this project today proves that, because like, for instance, the M, you see how tiny those are? That's like, if I put it on my little grid right here, so that's like just a little over an inch. So that's a tiny, tiny little piece of vinyl, but we're going to use that today. And so most of these are remnants. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to move these guys out of the way real quick. I'm going to shift these up. We're going to start with a simple vinyl project that is an Easter design. And if you have ever cut out, let's see if I can, guys, I'm not sure how well you can see that on camera, but we'll weed it here in a second. But if you've ever cut out a design that has multiple, not layers necessarily, let me see if I can just show you real quick. So see, cute, super cute bunny. But I hate it whenever I am crafting something. Okay, here's, for instance, and I take the eye out. Like when I weed it, like I miss getting the eye. This bunny's kind of the same way. So it's a monogram, and I use the monogram. So if you haven't done this yet, Cricut Design Space now has over in, if you're looking at it on desktop, over on the left-hand navigation, it has the monogram tool. So you can go in and choose a theme. That's what this is. This little bunny is a theme. And then I chose to put, you know, a monogram inside of that. And actually, we're just going to do one letter because I was kind of in a hurry because I actually did this about 20 minutes ago. I wanted to put like my full initials in it or monogram in it, but I couldn't. So now I'm just doing an initial. But so like with a bunny like this, if you look at it, and I can actually, I think, weed this. If you can ever weed by hand, do it, right? Because I can't tell you how many times I have messed something up just because I couldn't see. Well, we already established that it's my birthday, and so therefore I can't see as well as I used to could see. That is so terrible. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but let's say I'm north of 40 and south of 50, but I'm closer to, I don't even want to say the word. I'm more north. How about that? I'm more north. Hey, Christine, how are you? Thank you, from Tennessee. Awesome. I lived in Tennessee too. Okay, so I've lived in a couple of different places, like through college and post-college. So I lived just outside of Memphis in Cordova, Tennessee, right after college. I love Tennessee. We live in Alabama now, and we do a lot of hiking. And so we go to Tennessee. Beautiful, beautiful place. Okay, so I have Anne from Michigan and Christine from Tennessee. If anybody else wants to tell me where they're hailing from, that would be great. Okay, so we have the bunny, and so we have the two levels here. So again, if you can, you know, weed, and I find that the Smart, like, actually weeds super simple. Like, it pulls up really well. But if you can do that without using your weeding tool, then you don't risk, you know, messing that up. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and weed out our K. So let me put this to the side. And by the way, guys, this is a glass craft mat, and I love it, especially when I'm doing stuff like this, because I can just set it down, it sticks right to it, and then it doesn't mess up my table. You know, it doesn't destroy my table. Hi, Carla, Franklin, Tennessee, another Tennessee, fantastic. Okay, so, and I was just telling Christine, I'm not sure if you were on, but I lived in Tennessee for a while right after college. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am just going to weed this out super quick. And, you know, I'll go ahead and tell you guys right now, I should have peeled away a part of my transfer tape when I was getting prepped, because I am notorious for like spending 5 minutes trying to get the transfer tape to come apart. So if anybody has any great tips on that, I'm all ears. So what I usually have to do is like get some off and bend a little corner before I start my craft projects, just so that I can like get it started. It kind of drives me nuts. So I'm all up for tips. Hey, Lisa, Massachusetts. Wow, but you live in Ohio. So, okay, great. Yes. What part of Ohio do you live in? Western New York. Fantastic. the shores of Lake Erie is so pretty, so pretty. Fantastic. All right, guys. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm trying to read comments and craft at the same time. So you guys bear with me a little bit here, but I love hearing from you guys over there. Okay, so we have our K. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our transfer tape and we are going to, I want to cut out a piece of transfer tape that is the same size as my design. So what I want to do is just scissors. See, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to, you know, get the right size. I always hate it whenever I am trying to do a craft and my transfer tape is not quite big enough. Do you know what I mean? Like part of the design is like falling off the side. That drives me nuts. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this out because for what we're doing today, which is multicolor vinyl, we want to really use the grids that are on that transfer tape. And I use multiple kinds of transfer tape. And so I know some of you have probably used different brands. This is actually the Cricut brand. And I am using it today because I love the grids. It just makes what we're doing with the multiple colors so much simpler. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do, okay, guys, and this is where I'm telling you I have a hard time getting the corners of it up. Is it going to be nice to me today? We will see. And you know what? Somebody asked me this the other day, and I thought I would address this morning, but somebody asked, you know, does transfer tape get old? Absolutely. Absolutely, it gets old. And so I, back in my beginning days of crafting, I would, I got it. I would save things because, you know, and again, I save all the little bits and pieces because I want to be able to reuse them, but I would like sort of hoard things and save them up. Just be careful with that because some of this stuff does get old. I've had vinyl get old on me, like a color that I didn't use very much, and I've had transfer tape get old on me. And you know, because whenever you go to peel it off and then you put it on your item, and then when you take it off there, if it comes off well, there's like a residue on it. And so, you know, just don't hang on to it too long. Okay. So I have my corner. Yay, I did good. So I have my corner. And what I want to do is I want to pick up my K, but I don't want to pick it up at the edge. I really want to pick it up more in the center so that I can get my full bunny on. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the K, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up the bunny so that when we're transferring it over to our mug, we're going to do it all at one time. So let's peel it back a little bit farther, and I am going to leave, you know, an edge there. And so since I have my glass mat, I am going to hopefully, and I want to use, see my grids? I want to use my grids as much as possible with my K because I want to make sure that I get it straight when I put it on my mug. Okay, and so I am, if you guys ever craft with me, a couple of things. So when it comes to picking up your design, if it's really intricate, you have to work a little bit harder at it, right? So especially if you're using like whimsical fonts and things like that, you're going to have to work a little bit harder at picking up that design. So I use two different things. So I will use my scraping tool, but I'll be honest with you guys, I used my brayer one time for fabric, I don't know, a year ago, and I won't go back. The brayer picks up designs, especially small little pieces, so well. So if you don't know what a brayer is, that's this. So it's made for fabric, but it works like a charm on vinyls and things like that. So this particular, you know, this little piece is so tiny. So you might want to just use your scraping tool to pick that up, but make sure you get into all the edges. But if you are using, you know, if you're getting a bigger thing, so like for instance, when, you know, you're picking up something like this. Now, what I will say about this is that when you're going on a curved edge, you're going to be able to, you know, go around it, where this is definitely going to be awesome for, you know, a straight up and down. But I love the brayer. Okay, so we're just going to burnish that a little bit. And then we want to, not sure if you guys, we can't see it on camera. We're going to pick it up. Okay. Well, and it came off, but then I think I let it get back on there. Okay, so I have my K, but guys, you hear that? That is so thick. So that is smart vinyl. That is smart vinyl. So we're gonna toss that. And then, so the next thing that we wanna do is we want to take our bunny. And so now that we have our K, we can, and we have our grids, we're going to be able to like truly center it in our bunny before we move it to the mug. So it's not going to be like we're, you know, up and down trying to get it centered and then, you know, mess it up. It's so easy to mess it up that way. So let's go ahead and using, I know I'm getting quiet just because I'm concentrating. Okay, so got that down. So now I'm going to take my tool. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to work that in. Okay, before I pick this up, the next thing I want to do is I want to take my mug. So this is a Cricut brand mug, but since we're using vinyl and you're not putting any heat to it, you could use any mug. You could use your Dollar Tree mugs. You can use your Cricut mugs. You can use your World Market mugs. By the way, World Market usually has some really good mugs. So these mugs are for infusible ink and for sublimation. Hey, Anne. Oh, you're blind too. Thank you for trying to make me feel better. I really appreciate that. Hey, Joanne from Tennessee. I have a lot of people here from Tennessee. That's fantastic. But so what I was saying about these is this is great for sublimation or infusible ink. So if you have not done the whole infusible ink thing yet, that's what this is. So if you guys are interested, I have a video in my playlist. And if I wasn't alone today, I would put it in the comments, but I'll put it down below in the description on the replay. But this is infusible ink. So basically it's just what it says. It's infused. It's like sublimation. So if you've heard of sublimation or if you do sublimation, you know infusible ink is just Cricut's word for sublimation. But basically it's ink that is then embedded. So you're going to be able to, you know, put this in the dishwasher. It's not going to come off. But I will say that people ask me, like, you know, now that you can do sublimation or infusible ink, why would you ever do vinyl? Tons of reasons. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't always want to keep a mug forever, right? I don't always want to keep it forever. And so I will use a vinyl on mugs when I, you know, especially like this holiday something, and I like changing things all the time and I like crafting. And so I like to use removable vinyl. Now there's two different things you have to think about vinyl. So permanent, you can actually use permanent vinyl on this mug, and I run mine through the dishwasher, and it's partially because I don't care like if it comes apart, but I have found that permanent vinyl doesn't come off, or like it doesn't come off for a while. Now removable vinyl, you're going to need to wash it by hand. So I guess it just depends, like, are you giving as a gift to someone and you don't know if they're going to run it through the dishwasher? I would say use permanent vinyl. And I have to clarify that permanent really just means it's good for a couple of years. So and everyone's dishwasher is different, and the heat on that, you know, you're risking all that hot, you know, pulling that off. But if you, even if you're hand washing it and you really want it to stay, then I would say just use permanent vinyl. It's not going to come off for a really, I actually have some Halloween mugs that I did way back when I first started doing mugs. And I used permanent vinyl, honestly, not even knowing what I was doing, but I used permanent vinyl because I had it and that was the color that I had. And I still have those mugs and I run them through the dishwasher every Halloween. Now, granted, that's not all year round, but I still have them. I still use them. So I am using a Cricut mug today for these, but you could use anything. But if you wanted to do like the infusible ink, you would have to use a Cricut mug. Okay. And by the way, you see there's two different sizes of Cricut mugs available. And I actually think I have these down in the description below, as well as all the vinyl colors that we're using today. So if you like one of these colors, you know, for a different project, or if you want to make this Mama Praise mug, these are all the colors that we're using today to do this. By the way, I wanted to show you guys this. When I designed the This Mama Praise, I was doing some sublimation things. And so I'll show you top down. And so this is my little sample thing that I do. It's sublimation scarf for a dog or something like that. So you can see I do little tests on it, but I tested the This Mama Prays, and that's how it came out, you know, as a sublimation piece. So if you wanted to cut out infusible ink, if you were using the Cricut, or if you have a sublimation printer and you wanted to do this design, that's what it looks like. And candidly, I think it probably should have been a little bit brighter. I'm not sure what my ink, I did this like a year ago. Okay, so let's get back to what we were doing with our mug. So the first thing you do with a mug is you want to clean it. So I have this, I'm not sure if I have this linked up down below, but if not, I will link it up afterwards. These are like $2, $3 on Amazon, but it's a little aerosol sprayer, and I have alcohol in this. And so I have a little microfiber cloth that I use, but in my haste to get ready for this, I couldn't find it, and it was like stressing me out that I couldn't find it, and so I have paper towel. So we're just gonna use paper towel. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spray that onto our mug, and this, again, just alcohol, but you wanna make sure that you get all the fuzz and all that kind of thing off of your surface before you put your design down. And this is true for sublimation and infusible ink, especially because the ink will actually adhere to the fuzz. And then, you know, when you wash it away, then you've got, you know, a gap where the ink didn't go. But it's also really important, I think, for vinyl, because if you're going to go to all the trouble of doing all of this, let's make it great, right? Let's make it awesome. Okay, so let's go back to our designs. We have our mug, we have our design. Let's pick up both of them at the same time. Now, what I was saying before about vinyl and smart versus regular, I find that smart vinyl takes a little bit more love to get it up off of the thing. It just does not come up as easily to me anyway. Okay, so it was a little bit of work, guys, but there we go. So now we have both pieces together, and we don't have to try to center that K and get it in the wrong place and that kind of thing. Okay, so I measured this beforehand, but I just want to use I always use my fabric when it's anything curved, and then I have a clear acrylic that I use on anything flat. But so we basically have this right here. And I think that I did this design. I'm going to use my tape, just my tape measure. This is just a great way to make sure that you have your design where you want before you put it down. I'm actually going to stand up, guys. I'm actually sitting, and I usually craft standing up. I just want to make sure that I get this right. And keeping in mind that my handle is right there, and I want it to face me. It's like landing a plane. If you guys ever do vinyl, it's like landing a plane. Like, you just want to make sure. Okay, so I would use this if it was a flat surface, but since it's not, we're going to use our scraping tool and just burnish everything down. So did anybody else join? So like, tell me where you're from. And if you're listening to this on the replay, I would love for you to still hop down. I read all of my comments myself, and I respond to questions and everything all myself. So if you are listening to this on replay, still, like, tell me, where are you at? I'd love to know where people are. And if you're new, like if you're just hopping on, we're doing multicolor vinyl, and it's my birthday. This is like, you guys are like my birthday gift. Okay, so then with vinyl, guys, you always, so see how cute that's going to be. You always peel from an edge. You don't just peel up and down. You always peel from an edge. And if you start to peel and something starts to come away, then we're just going to lay it back down, and we're going to go over it again. And I will, after this is over with, this is a Cricut Design Space image, this bunny, and I will put a link to this down in the description so you guys can Oh my goodness, guys, I'm so excited. Okay, so I will go ahead and tell you guys that I already have like, I mean, no joke, like 10 Easter crafts already in process and or like planned out. I am really excited for Easter this year. Like I'm really excited to do an egg hunt with my nieces and nephews. And I'm really excited to put some like new home decor in the house. And I'm just really excited for this Easter. So if you are into that, make sure that you hang out with me over the next month or so. Actually, I have one that I'm doing with my mom, which is so cool. My mom is like a really good sewer, but we're going to use the Cricut and we're going to cut out some pieces and then she's going to help me sew it. I'm trying to learn how to sew. So that one's going to come very soon. I'm really excited about that one. Okay, so this is our bunny mug. So we just did 2 layers of vinyl and we did it all at one time and it's so super cute. Okay. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and now it gets a little more difficult, right? We are going to, this is when I'm thinking, oh goodness, maybe we should have just done sublimation. When we're gonna do this many pieces all at one time. And guys, I just had something happen with my camera, so give me 2 shakes. I got this. This is the problem with being in the studio all by yourself. I think I got it. So it was on the camera that faces me. And so let's see. Oh, yay, I'm back. Okay. So I can see the fact that it like died, like that it went away. Okay. So we are going to now move on to multiple colors. And so again, it gets a little more complex and we are using different things, but again, these are all remnants. So if you have little tiny pieces, guys, don't get rid of them. And I just want to tell you this too. What did I do with my mat? So when you have a mat like this mat is, I ordered some new mats. This mat is so loved. It is, it's bad. Okay, so let's just go ahead and say it's bad. And so if you find yourself with a mat like this, now you can do the whole cleaning thing, and I'll be honest with you, I probably should, but they were on 50% off sale, and so it was just like, I'm just gonna get a new mat. But if you find yourself like this, what I do, especially if you are using, again, these thicker smart vinyl remnants, I'll put it on my mat, and then I will take some Scotch tape. And I've been doing this for years and it hasn't hurt my machine, not one bit. But I'll take some Scotch tape and just tape down the corners so it doesn't shift, like just a little bit. And then that way that it'll go through the machine and I can still use that piece. So I just wanted to tell you guys that. I love to craft, but you know, crafting can get expensive. And if there's any way that I can save my pieces, save my mat, like get a little more use out of something, I'm all in. Okay, so let's weed these out. And I went ahead and weeded out this earlier. And actually I cut out because I was afraid that I was going to mess something up. I don't know if you guys can. Nah, you can't see it on camera. It's just too blown out. But those A's are really small. Now I'm not going to keep this because I can't. I mean, it's like a ½ an inch. But I am going to keep this and I'm going to put it back in. I put these back in my boxes. Like I still have mine in my boxes and I just put them down in the center to save them. I do also have a folder that I use like for bigger pieces, but these little guys, I just stick them right in there. Okay, so we are going to take our weeding tool and grab at an edge. This always makes me nervous. Like I'm going to. And so when it's small things like this, I will a lot of times cut 2 of them just because I'm like, it's not that much vinyl. And then I don't have to worry about that. So guys, if you are just joining and if you are from my email subscriber list, make sure that you check your email because that is where you are going to find this one that we're doing right now. Hey, Judy from Texas. Fantastic. I love this. All the T states. We have Ohio, Michigan, Texas, Tennessee. Okay, so I'm hoping I'm learning this system thing too, and I want to say, oh gosh, I can. So see, I can click on you guys and show you on screen. How cool is that? So that was Anne telling me that she couldn't see either. So, okay, so now what we can do is get the little centers out of our A's. And if I could do that by hand, I would really rather do that by hand. Well, that's why we have two of these guys, when they're super tiny and you can't see like me. See, I did it right there. And of course, I had to do it live with you guys. Oh. I guess it would help if I put on my glasses. I am so rebellious when it comes to my glasses. But I guess you guys can't see me right now because you're looking at the table, right? So then I should just put on my glasses and do what's right. Oh, wow, look at that. I can see. And I was able just to get it out so easy. This is one of those things that I'll be honest with you guys. I really don't, care about all that kind of stuff. Like we talked about, this is my birthday, right? And so, I like to think that the wrinkles and the, all the things, that the glasses, all those things are just God's way of reminding us that this is temporary and just, it's not a big deal. It's everybody's going to go through it. So just suck it up, buttercup, right? And move on. Okay, so we have the A, and we have the this, and this is our praise. This is another A. This is an M. And again, put on the glasses. So what are you guys making? If anybody wants to share with me, like, what are you making these days? So like, are you, who's trying sublimation? Who's like, what are you guys doing? I'd love for y'all to chat and share with me, like, what's going on your craft table. There we go. Got that. Get that M out. And so we'll go back to using the transfer tape and picking up all of these. And so like, just like we did with the one, with the mug, let's see if I can. So like put that there. So just like doing with this one, we're going to pick up each of these. So we just need kind of get those together. Mama. We'll put that guy out of the way. Then we have another A. And yes, guys, I will be saving. I mean, look at this. Like, that is enough to where I could cut out another A. Like, I could do all kinds of stuff with that. So, no, I'm not getting rid of that. And for those of you who are like, oh, gosh, I just don't want to clutter up my craft room and that kind of thing, you will be thankful that you found a sweet little way to organize or keep your pieces when you want to do a project and you don't have the material. I promise. Okay, so there we go. Do I want to do? No. My design has a green in it. So if you're looking at the original design, but I could not, and this is my extra piece, but I could not find a green in my studio. And so that's the lovely thing about doing stuff like this, guys. You just make it out of whatever you've got. You could do this whole thing as one color, or you could do Mama as all as one color. I mean, you don't have to be all multicolor, because I know, like, I've collected my vinyl over time and I kind of tend to do like a family of colors. But I told you guys that I'm really excited about Easter right now, and because I'm really excited about Easter, I've kind of gone and got like all the Easter-ish colors, right? But I realized that I have, this is the mint one. It's kind of shining on camera. There we go. So this is the mint one, and it's kind of the closest thing I had to green. So I just ended up using that. So let's, and I love the mint. If you guys ever craft with me, you know my craft room is very blue. Like I love the blues. So, and this is nice. So like whenever you can just pick up an edge, I love that kind of weeding, guys. That's my jam right there. Okay. And again, for these little things, I'm going to use my hands as much as I can just because I worry. Okay, so this Mama Praise. And can I just tell you guys, this mama does. I have, ooh, look, I'll let you guys see me with the glasses. I have 2 teenage boys, and I am excessively blessed. I truly am. But that said, the Lord, he holds my hand every day, walks me around, because we stress about all the big things and the little things. Like, I have my youngest just started driving within the last year, and I finally had to just be like, it's okay, God's got him, because I would fret every time he left the house. We live out, like way out, so his school is like 20 minutes from the house. And so, I mean, it's quite the little drive. And so if it's raining or, whatever, I get all nervous. Okay. So this Mama Pro. So here's the, this is, I think I have the box. This is the Cricut mug box, which I love getting the little Cricut mugs when I'm gifting, because this is great. You can embellish this box and do fun things with the box, and then, give that away. And you can buy these. And again, I think I have them linked down below. But that's one of the reasons I love that. They're not that much more expensive, candidly. If you get a good mug from World Market or places like that, then you're paying about the same price, and you don't get a gift box. So I kind of love the gift box thing. And I want to say that I have the box of like how it comes in a set. Let's see if I can get this under camera. So it comes in a box like this, where there's 6 in there. And so if you get those off of Cricut.com or you get them off Amazon, you can get 6 of them and then make them as gifts. Or make them for yourself. That works too. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our transfer tape. And so for this, again, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my scissors, because I really want it to be fairly accurate. And I'm going to cut off some of this excess. Get those out of the way. This is my little trash bag. Okay, so this Mama Praise. Get a little excess off of there. Since we're picking up so many different colors, if we weren't, I wouldn't really care. But I think this might be a good idea. And guys, by the way, we're buddies now, because I have not made this mug before. Okay, so it kind of makes me really nervous, like crafting live, because have you ever had a friend come over to your house and you're like trying to show them something, or, and you feel like it's taking too long, and you kind of be like, oh, well, never mind. Yeah, that would be me. That would be me. But we're not going to never mind today, because we're going to do this. And even though I haven't made this particular mug before, we got this. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we have a piece of transfer tape that is as big as our shape, and a little bit bigger is great. So, but we're going to say 1, 2, 3. We're going to get 4 inches, right? So we're going to get 4 inches. Let's go ahead and cut this out. Other great thing about having this mat is that it's a ruler too, so it really helps me. And I have this linked up down below too, if you guys want to check it out. The glass mats. Okay. And actually, I think I cut that out a little big, but that's okay. I'd rather it be too big than too small, right? And we want to make sure, because again, we're doing all these multiple colors, we want to make sure that our grids, like we're fairly, I'm actually going to trim that off to grid, because I want to make sure that I'm actually using the grids and picking it up straight. Because I'll be honest with you, this is like the most complicated, right? Because it's letters, and you're going to know if it's off center, if it's odd. So like just putting down this bunny, we were like, coming in for a landing, but putting it down something that is this many pieces, yeah, that it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take, this is the Cricut mug I was telling you about. Let's go ahead and take that out of the box. And that's the other thing too, guys, if you wanted to ship these or something, they have great little, they have them all perfect with all these little bags and things. Okay, so what are we going to do first? We're going to clean it, right? We're definitely going to clean it. So we're going to take our alcohol and little paper towel since I can't find. Ooh. There we go. And I don't, okay, so guys, do you like, oh, Judy, she's currently making t-shirts, onesies. Growth just would love to do some mugs. So this is great. Fantastic, Judy. So yes, I am always making t-shirts, always making t-shirts. I don't put them on the channel very much. And actually, I think I'm going to change that because I've been doing some fun things, and I haven't done a iron-on craft. It's been a while. It's been a while. So maybe, yeah, that might be something. So Judy, what are you making? Is it stuff for you, or do you have a little business? The onesie thing, I love the onesie thing. And I love the sublimation or the infusible ink with the onesies, just because it's so soft and it, doesn't scratch the little people. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to take our transfer tape. And again, anybody that's new in the last few minutes, guys, if you have a tip on how to separate your transfer tape, look at that. Okay, God is with me this morning, really, because candidly, guys, I always, like, I'll struggle with it. Even like when I'm recording a video for later, I will struggle with like getting that off. It's terrible. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with praise. And the reason we're going to do that is because, like, whatever word you have at the bottom, let's go ahead and get it in place, especially if you have multicolors like this, so that you can line it up with something that you know is straight. Okay, so if your design has something down here, whether it's a word or whatever it is, just grab your lowest piece first and then work up. Okay, so we're going to take our transfer tape, and I'm actually going to crease my transfer tape on that bottom line. Okay, and then I'm going to move those out of the way, get those out of the way. And what I want to do is I'm going to use that line right at the PRA, like where that, I'm not going to try to go down here with the P or the Y, just because those hanging letters could be different heights, right? So, and I'm going to do what I did last time. We're going to stand up, do this right. I apologize. My head's getting in the way. Okay. Oh, and this is just a little tip. You have to know sometimes this will want to pick up. It'll want to lift. And so one of the things, like it's almost like a suction, like a static cling like suction. So if that is the case, guys, you could take a little piece of tape and tape it down so that it doesn't move. Do you know what I mean? So that it doesn't like pick up. And so mine's not really doing such a bad job, but I just thought I would show you that. So you put that in the corner. Okay, and so then I'm going to put this down. Okay, so you see how I was able to line that up. Then I'm going to take my brayer. Okay. So you can pick the whole thing up like that. There we go. Okay, so again, this is smart vinyl, and so it's a little tougher to get off. So we're going to be patient. I'm going to go ahead and release that down to the next level. Okay. So we've got that straight. You see how perfectly straight that is on that line? Okay. And so now what we want to do is we want to get, okay, and this is hard to do, but I'm going to try not to touch this upper piece with the oils on my fingers, just because it's going to want to take the sticky off. And so if you can avoid touching that upper part, do that. Okay, and if you are new here, guys, if you are from my email list, this design was in your email last night for free, of course. And then if There's also a link in the description if you want to join my email list. I would love that. I do give away free cuts. And if today goes well and everybody likes, you know, crafting live, we'll do this more often. And then that way you'll get the free cuts. Or if you've been crafting on your own, get the free cuts there too. Okay. All right. So we have praise. Okay. So now it really gets tough, right? So we need to pick up each one. And so what I would say is we need to choose where, like exactly, and I wish this grid was actually even smaller. I needed that line so that I could pick that. I needed the base to be completely straight, but now we're going to need to get, you know, mama above that and all straight. So a little of that, we're just going to have to do our best here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use the edges. Since I don't have that grid, I want it to sit just slightly above. Okay. What do you think about like that? We're going to crease that liner. I actually think I want it to be even a little bit more. Because this is a mug, right? So we don't have a ton of space. And because this was a straight cut, I know that the edges are straight. Okay, so this is going to be the best way that you're going to be able to pick that up and make sure that everything stays straight. Does that make sense? So you're folding, you're giving yourself a line in between the Cricut grids. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to pick up not the M. We're actually not going to pick up the M. We're going to pick up an A. We're going to go in. We want to work from the center out. So I know we're getting all complicated here, right? So the center out. So if I look at this Mama Praise, and if we look back at our original design, I wonder, I do. Okay, so Mama should be longer than the S, okay? So it should, with the size of these letters, the M, it's left justified. Actually, you know what? If it was centered, we would start with the A, but since it is left justified, we're going to start with the M. Okay, so we're going to start with the M, get that in place, and as we build it out, the A should overlap the S. And that's why it's always important to go back and look at your original design when you're doing stuff like this, because, I mean, I designed it, and I wasn't thinking about it being left justified. Right? So it's always important to just like, before you like get too solid on something, go back and check it out. Go back and look and see like, what was that? Okay, so let's go back down. So we're going to be left justified, and we're going to take this M, and we could do the tape trick again if we wanted to, because it is tiny. So we could tape that down. And guys, if you don't have a glass mat, right? Oh, and I missed it. If you don't have a glass mat, something else great to use would be a piece of wax paper. Okay, so I'm going to use that tape, but you could use a piece of wax paper to protect your table, and because it's to protect your table, and because it's going to release. Wax is going to let it, you know, release off. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to line up the M and the P. Gosh, why do I have to get so complicated today, huh? Why do we have to get so complicated? But you know what? After this, you're going to be able to line up anything, right? You're going to be able to line up absolutely anything. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so 2 down. So we've got the praise and we've got the M, right? Okay, so let's move on to the A. Okay, we could use the E. Not yet. I hope. Did I get that? There we go. Okay, and this is smart vinyl. So I find it's a little bit tougher to get it to release. Judy, she says she doesn't have a business and she's making onesies for her great-granddaughter for her graduation, who's expected, her grandson, sorry, who's expected to join us in April. Oh, that is fantastic. Crafting group at church and friends. You know what? That is the best. If you can find a community, guys, that is absolutely the best. And Ruth says, I always find it helps to pull the backing off the vinyl, not pull the vinyl from the backing. Very good. Thanks so much, Ruth. Appreciate that. Okay. So let's see if we can get the M. And we want to try to keep them all about the same, oops, all about the same distance. From each other. Okay, so we've got that. Seriously, guys, why in the world would I start my very first live with doing something so complicated? You guys are awesome. I appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. This is, you know, like I was saying at the beginning, if you're coming in now, this was kind of my birthday present to myself because today's my birthday. And I'm not super huge on, smart vinyl can be such a bear sometimes. I am not super huge on like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. I'm just, you know, it's not really my bag. But this year I did, I did tell myself that my goal this year was to be brave, right? So my goal is to be brave. Just gonna make sure that's, yeah, awesome. That's kind of long, nice. Okay, and so part of that is to do things like this, to step outside of my comfort zone and to do things like this. And I just think that building a community with like-minded people, people who love to craft and do things like this is just such a fun way to have that. Okay, so let's go back. You're looking at the top of my head. Let's go back to top down. Okay, so this is we're almost there, guys. I promise we're almost there. So if you are just joining, the tips of how to best do this is to like use your liner, fold your liner to give yourself another, you know, level of. Okay, so again, liners have all the grids. So if we fold our liner, you know, and everything is straight, then we're going to have one more like ruler basically on our design. And we're doing something so complicated with all this color. And we're using smart vinyl instead of everyday vinyl because these are remnants that I just was not willing to let go of. Oh no, did I just do that? Okay, this is a good lesson right here, guys. This is something that's good that it happened when we were together, right? Because this happens, especially with tiny things. And it is so annoying, but you have to know how to come back from it, right? I swear I'm gonna get this in just a second. It's just we've come so far, right? We've come so far. I don't want to give up on my little design. And if you're new here, we did do a layered design at the very beginning of the video where we did 2 colors instead of 6. Okay, and we'll use our scraping tool this time. That A doesn't seem like it wants to release. But I have to say, I'm really excited about this mug. This is going to be fun. There we go. And so it just picked right up. So now we have all of them together. Yay. Okay, so the last but not least, we want to do the word this, and we just want to make sure that we get, do yourself a favor. And before you pick up anything like that, double check your designs. Because you see that? I had a very tiny little piece of vinyl in there. Double check your designs and make sure that you have everything out because you don't want to like get it on. I've done this with iron-on before. Oh my goodness, it breaks my heart because then I'm like so mad that I ironed it on and I didn't, you know, thoroughly weed it out. So we're doing that again. So we're taking that liner and we're making ourselves another line within the grid so that we can keep everything straight. So see, our next grid line is higher up, but I don't want the letters to be that far apart. I want them to be closer. So now I can look at this, and the word "this" is a little wonky. So I'm going to line it up with the bottom of the T. And again, they're left justified. And what do you guys think? Done? Did we do it? All these colors? Oh my goodness, I can't believe we did it. All these colors. Now if we can pick up that last one, get that onto our mug, we are amazing. We are amazing. So if anybody is new, I would love to know where you are hailing from. So we have Tennessee, we have Michigan, we have Texas, all represented. Did I say Michigan? I did say Michigan. Oh, in New York. We had in New York as well. And then I am in Alabama. But I have lived in Texas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Ohio. Okay. So what am I doing, guys? Okay, so the next thing I need to do is to take this off. Get that last off. So today, again, you know, birthday and all, I am, after we get done crafting this morning, then I am going to have breakfast with my family. And then I think it's going to rain all day here today. It's my birthday. It's going to rain the whole day. I'm so bummed. But I think we are going to go have dessert. Look at that, guys. So good. It's going to be so cute. And if you use this design, but maybe you put it on a t-shirt or you put it on a hat or you put it on, you know, something else, a bag, like for Bible study or something like that, I would love to hear about it. From Denmark, oh goodness, hey, am I going to pronounce that? Medes? I am so sorry. I'm sure I am mispronouncing your name, but from Denmark, that is so cool. So exciting. Okay, so here we go. This Mama Praise. Look at all that color. Okay, so I know that was a bear, but guys, look at all that color that now you can transfer over onto a mug. That is just so cool. Okay, so we're going to move this out of the way. And the thing is even if you're not doing this design, but you're doing something else, maybe like the one we did at the beginning, what a great way to make sure that you have everything straight and you don't have any issues, right? And by the way, my camera has done that again. So I am going to just click it super quick. And I guess it's like a setting and I have not been able to figure it out. And I know you guys can't see that, but I can tell that I'm, you know, like when I switch back over to my face, like for whatever reason, it just kept wanting to click off. Okay, so we're going to take this and now we want to put it on our mug. And guys, keep in mind that your handle, you know, which direction you want it in. And then if you are, to be able to like keep your handle up when you put it down, like starting to put it down, because otherwise if your handle is down like this, then your design is going to be off, right? Because you're not going to hold your mug like this, you're going to hold it straight facing you, right? So I am going to just use that little cap. And then I want to kind of eyeball where I want it to be. And the taco method works really great, especially with this many colors. You can kind of say, oh, I think I want that to be about right there. And again, it's like landing a plane. And so on a curved surface, just be careful, make sure you go the middle and then over. You don't want any bubbles, no bubbles. And then just take your brayer and go in between all your letters. And we talked about this before, but vinyl, I know a lot of people are like sublimation only these days. That is not true. You can use vinyl. I personally like to redo my mugs. Like I don't want to buy 50, 60 mugs. I want to be able to take my designs off and remake these. But if I want to keep it for a couple of years, like this is actually permanent vinyl, then I did this out of permanent, and it's going to last. It's going to last a long time. Now, if you use a removable vinyl and you have like really whimsical fonts and things, it is more likely, you know, going to want to pull away. So I would say if you're going to use removable vinyl, make sure that your designs are chunky. So you're doing like bigger things, like with what we, you know, did with the bunny a little bit earlier. There, like the bunny a little bit earlier this morning. Okay, so I hope you guys like this design. I'll be honest with you, I'm loving all the color. Oh, I did mispronounce, but you're don't worry about it. Oh, sorry about that. But you're very, very sweet. You're giving me some grace there. Okay, so let's go top down. And then again, for this, what we're going to do is we are going to pull from a corner. We don't want to, you know, ever pull up or down. We want to peel from a corner. So we're just going to pick up that edge. And I would say, especially with this many pieces, guys, just go slow. And if anything wants to peel up with you, then just put it back down. Go again. Oh, guys, it did so good. Oh, and by the way, you know, again, because I am a keeper of things, I will put this back on its liner and I will use this again. Now, if your transfer tape, like we talked about, starts to get old, right, you're going to tell because it's going to have, you know, like residue and stuff on it. So just throw it away. It's not any good. It's going to mess up your designs. But if you, you know, have fairly new and it doesn't have stuff on it, then I would say save that and maybe get another use out of it or two. Did it turn out good? Did you guys like that? That is, I'm really, really excited. I was nervous doing it live that I wasn't going to be able to get everything lined up straight, but I am very, very thankful that it came off as well as it did. And I hope you guys enjoyed this morning. I thank you guys for spending some of my birthday with me and letting me kind of like, you know, dip my toe into something that it just makes me super, super nervous, right? Like being live, it just makes you kind of nervous. And I really appreciate all the people who, you know, chatted in the chat. That like kind of takes some of the anxiety off and like helps you like calm. So what I will do is in the description for today, I will put the link to, I think I already have the link to this design down there. And again, the email list, if you want to hop on that, then you can get free cuts, especially if we do any lives. I'll be sending those to you guys so that we can craft live together and you can make the same thing with me. And I just thank you guys for being here today. See you next time. So I'll see if I can figure out how to turn it off.